Action! Hello, and you're welcome. We're bringing history to you. First, we'll start off with textile mills from the Industrial Revolution. The original textile mills were invented in Britain. Clothes were originally made by hand. The factories resulted in the loss of these jobs. The flying shuttle was one of the key developments in the industrial weaving during the Industrial Revolution. It allowed a single weaver to weave much wider fabrics. It could have been mechanized, allowing for automatic machine looms. They were invented by John Kay. Most factories were powered by water mills that would run the whole factory, but these made it very hard to shut down the factories. Yeah. Action!
Next, we're going to talk about interchangeable parts. If you don't know what interchangeable parts are, they are parts that are exactly the same. They are made to ensure that they are so nearly identical that they will fit into any assembly of the same type. These help to the creation of mass production. Mass production is making large numbers of products that are identical. Interchangeable parts became popular in America when muskets had to be fixed by Eli Whitney.
Action!
Now we will move on to something from the transportation revolution, the telegraph. The telegraph was one of the earliest inventions for long-distance communication. Samuel Morse created a code of dots and dashes that could be transmitted across the U.S. and decoded by hired professionals and sent off to the recipient. The first telegraph Morse sent was in 1844 and was sent from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, Maryland. The famous message read, "What hath God wrought?" And 22 years later, in 1866, a telegraph line had been made across the Atlantic Ocean from the United States to Europe. The telegraph system was widely popularized thanks to incredible innovations such as the insulation for the telegraph wires created by Ezra Cornell, and the quadruplex system, which allowed the telegraph to transmit 4 messages at the same time, which was invented by Thomas Alva. Over time, the electric telegraph came into play and changed how information was transferred drastically. Normal ways of information could be delivered by horse and carriage mail carts. With the electric telegraph, information could be exchanged almost instantaneously.
Cut. Action.
Also from the transportation revolution are railroads. The history of railroads are almost as old as the United States itself, the railroad dating back to the mid-1820s. The railroads themselves are responsible for much of America's prosperity in the 1800s. The Golden Age was a time of economic prosperity that lasted until the 1800s, until the 1920s. Until the automobiles and early models of the airlines slowly dimmed the railroad's transportation monopoly. Added on with government regulations beginning in the early 20th century, made the railroad business go into a point of desperation. The business was at the brink of collapse by the 1970s. The original railroad was created by John Stevens, who obtained the first charter in North America to make the Jersey Railroad Company, while the first steam locomotive was tested by Connell Stevens in 1826.
Cut. Now let's give a warm welcome to Lucy the Mill Girl.
Thank you, Kathleen.
How would you describe your experience working in the mill factory?
It was very cutthroat, but I needed the money.
Wow, that doesn't seem fun. What did you have to do?
I had to load all the machines and pray that my hand didn't get cut off.
Oh yeah, that seems very tough. Did you ever think about quitting?
At times I did, but I thought about the money and how I needed to support my family.
That makes sense. Would you say you regret it now?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get hurt, and I did need the money at the time.
Well, thank you for sharing your experiences with us and your time. We appreciate it.
The pleasure was mine.
Action! First, we'll start off with textile mills.
Kathleen, profit. I would say it's very cutthroat, but I needed the money.
Wow!
Jeez, Kathleen.